Morning, welcome to Fishing Squad. It's Sunday the 2nd of June. Just walking down to a mark, the Huss mark. See if we can get some huss out this morning. Fishing the complete wrong stage of tide, but it's all I can manage for today. I don't fancy battling lobster pots on the other mark. So it'll be an easy session and hopefully the Huss will upset the phone book in terms of stage of tide and stuff. Maybe some other factors might come into play and we might get on a couple of fish. Not just the stage of tide, but maybe well, the stage of tide technically is wrong. Fishing the ebbing tide. Don't usually like it on here when it's ebbing, but you can always upset the phone book. I've caught them on the ebb before, but just not as many as on the flood. So let's have a go. Fishing pollock and squid. I've got one mackerel left from yesterday. Fish bait wise, it's mainly pollock and squid. I'm going to put a flapper rig out on one rod and two big baits on the other two. Let's see how we get on. Truthfully, I was close to staying in bed this morning, but once I'm up I feel like I want to go fishing, so yes. Just had a nice night's sleep basically. So we'll see. I'll see you at the mark and see how we get on. It should be a better video today. I bought my camera stand for once. I'm going to try and do a bit more detailed video and what have you, so see you at the mark. So this is the mark we're fishing today. I'll be fishing just to the left. Right, I'm down. My tripod's going to be here, so as you come down basically I'm just fishing on the left hand knuckle of this cast out there. Right, got a bit of problem with the camera stand, so I'm going to have to position the camera probably down here, so you're facing back at the tripod, which is here. I don't know how that's going to look. Basically, give me a sec. I broke my stand, my tripod, you know, my camera stand. Brought it down all excited this morning, and it's a waste of time basically. The clip that holds the phone in, the bottom of it's gone missing. It must have sprung off the spring. They're only cheap, like a tenner for this stand. Off Amazon, I think it was. But basically, it usually has a clip that's on a spring, similar to like that bit that's like a clamp on a spring, and it's come off. It's snapped off by the looks of it. I must have dropped it or something. So we're screwed. I'm just going to try and position you a bit better. That might be as good as we get, guys, for this morning. You see my tripod. Basically, look out what's going on. So yeah, we're going to put two big baits out to start with. Then we're going to flick a flapper rig down the side. Well, close in, shall I say. I'll just talk you through what I use for the bit on the big fish setup while I'm here. Probably do an extended video on this one, to be fair. It's going to be the last one for a couple of weeks, so I prefer filming on my own because I ain't got to pan around and film everybody else, you know what I mean? So we're going to have more focus on like the rod rest, which is my rod rest is a Shakespeare Salt. They're good tripods. They haven't entirely got on as well with as what some people get on with theirs. I think for rockfish, I don't think there's really one that's absolutely perfect, but it's good enough for rockfish. It's been a decent tripod. It costs about, I think it were 60 quid or something like that, 60 odd quid. But I've hammered it. I've only had it a year. I haven't even had it a year yet, and it's absolutely hammered. I had an Ian Gold's match rod rest before. It did me 20. I'm saying it gave me 20 years, but I did change two of the legs and a couple of the heads on it. I sound like Trigger, don't I, on the Fools and Horses with that broom. It had 14 new heads and 22 new handles. But yeah, so probably not as hard wearing as I'd like really for rock fishing, but it has had a couple of tumbles here and there. I'm sure it'll do the job for another few years yet. I like the weight of it. Like I say, I've had it go over a couple of times on the roads. We have got a bit of a northerly on our left cheek. This mark faces east. So good tip. won't mess about with rod bags when you're coming onto rock marks. I've got a Daiwa sandstone rod bag back up at the cottage, but it's just more crap to carry. It does restrict you a bit when you're walking down little paths or along ledges and stuff. Even if you don't have it over your shoulder with the shoulder strap, it does. So what I do is I just put a bungee around all my rods, but that then can double up as something just to secure the rod rest a bit. Sorry. I just hook it onto my tripod and hook it onto my tripod at one end, obviously, and then either double it over or whatever. Find the best way of doing it. And I never stick to the same method for strapping this down. I just double it over on that catch there and hook these two hooks into a crevice. Sometimes when you're on these marks, the tide run can pick up that explanation. Or it can catch you out, should I say. So you just want your rod rest just to be anchored in, because you don't want. I've had my rod go over a couple of times. Rods go over a couple of times, and it were new rod that I just bought earlier in the year, and I crushed the rings on it. But I managed to straighten them all out. They're quite good. One of the Ron Thompsons that I bought. That's the rods we're going to be using on the big baits today. Ron Thompson accelerator. Someone that's on like a bit of a budget. We tick all the boxes really for the fishing that I'm doing. I bought one last year, and I bought a second one to start this year. They're just absolute broom handles basically, but they're superb. You know, especially when you're doing a lot of fishing on your own. They're good for lifting fish up. You know, big fish up without any issue. Or you can beach them on the rocks, go down and grab them as you go, sort of thing. Yeah. So we'll talk through that. We've got a Ron Thompson accelerator. It's 13.6, can cast 4 to 8 ounce. You can load it up with 20 ounce probably if you wanted to. I'm on fixed spool reels now, so I fitted casting cannons just above the reel seat in line with the bail arm on my fixed spools. I'll show you that in a second. I'll show you the fixed spools. I've got two different fixed spools. I've got a Penn Battle 3 and a Penn Rival. They're both 8,000 size and the long cast spools. So basically, it's a Penn Battle 3 8,000 LC long cast. That's what the LC stands for. It's Penn Rival 8,000 long cast. Good reels. I've upgraded the gear, the knob on one of mine. You know the reel handle on the Penn Rival. So you can get a bit more torque when you're reeling in. This is the Penn Battle. I'll show you as a demo. I'll show you on one rod. It's Penn Battle 3 8,000 long cast, £80 leader, £25 shock leader. I think I said that right. Did I say that right? It's £25 main line and £80 shock leader. I don't know if I said that right. I'm going to be using 8 ounce on these today. I'm just finding with these rods, the more you load them up, especially if you don't pendulum cast. I've read to think how far you'd be able to cast if you pendulum cast as well. The rod and reel combination, basically, someone that just does a simple overhead thump, if you like, I can get a fair distance out. I've doubled my casting distance in the last 10 years, basically, with big baits. It's gone through the roof. In the last 6 months, I've probably added 33% onto my cast. We're just switching to big spools, so quite happy. I think it's not about, when we talk about casting, obviously, some people, you do get a bit giddy with casting. I think as a fisherman, depending on what sort of fishing you're doing, for this rock fishing with big baits, all it is, you never really truly hold the bottom when there's a tide run, unless you could put a stone or lead on, and you'd struggle. Well, you wouldn't struggle, but if it were rough, you'd get moved about still. So basically, obviously, you can't cast a stone or lead. So basically, what you want to be doing is putting a 7 or 8 ounce lead on, casting as far as you can with a big bait, and then no matter what you do, it will come back into the rocks a little bit. Because you've cast, because for instance, what I was casting before, it was probably coming, when it settled in the tide, it was coming in too far. now obviously I'm casting further, it's not coming in as much as what it was. So we're still out in the tide run a bit, just that little bit further than I was before. And it increases your chances of catching fish basically because your bait's clearer of the kelp and stuff. Plus dogfish and that, and conkers will swim around the kelp and they ride into the kelp, mooching about for food. Tope, for instance, which is what this setup's really aimed for, but we're happy obviously we're catching huss today. They probably need your bait to be more visible, you know. Unless they're really hungry, they probably don't go mooching about as much, you know, scouring about as much. They're looking for that easy fix, I reckon. That's the impression I get anyway. And I think my catches of tope have proved that basically. Autumn's generally best around here for tope. I think they seem to be, especially if you're not a big caster, it is, because I think they seem to come a little bit closer in. They seem more on the munch like they're hungry, especially when the water gets a bit cloudy as well. They have to start using the nose, getting the nose down more and stuff. So I'm just going to stick a rig out my bag. So I've just brought, these are what I just call my huss rigs. Backup rigs as well, whatever. A lot of them don't have wire on. But the pennels as well, a lot of them, rather than dongles. I've got some flappers on here as well. There's all sorts in this bag. I sorted my rucksack out the other day before I come through. I've got double dongle rigs, all sorts. But we'll have a little bit of a go with everything this morning probably. But I'm just going to start off with 2 pennels, I think. If I can just have a look, see what we've got. Yeah, we're just going to start off with 2 pennels. I'll get 2 out. There's one here. There's another one. There's a couple of dongle rigs here as well. See what we've got. I've got all sorts in here, like. It is like literally, it's like I call it I put backup rigs on it to start with, but then yeah, I've got a nice rig here as well. Yeah, there's a couple of panels on here. I've got a mixture. I don't want to be using dongles really. We're using impact shields this morning as well. Try them. I had some I needed to use up. I bought some a few just before Christmas. I've got some I need to use up, so right. I've got 2 out there. I'm just gonna. Right, so obviously you've got your panel set up, which is I've got a 6.0. It's like a, I don't know what type of rookie. I think it's a Tamers. That 6.0 Tamers, a 10.0 Kyoki circle, which we're hoping to hook on. As you can see, when the fish picks that up, that back up does move. The bottom up does move well and truly out of the way. It should do anyway, on strike or lifting into the fish. You don't really need to strike with a circle. So we've got 2 foot snood, power swivel, 3 foot rig body, so we can cast out nice and far. 3.0 swivel, quite a big one. I think that's a size 5 power swivel on the snood. And then we've got a crimp, a bead, an impact shield, and then just a clip. That clip I'm going to put a rotten bottom clip on there, then tie a wheat link line on and tie my lead on. We'll do that now. So yeah, so basically the pulley swivel's a 3.0 swivel, quite a big one, so it keeps it flowing nice and don't get tangled or anything like that. Thought I forgot my weights then. That'd have been getting nowhere. So don't use your teeth, you only get one set. Should have told myself that about 30 years ago. So yeah. Right, so yeah, last night went to see my mate Paul on his campsite, caravan site. tea there and stuff, barbecue and what have you. It really was spot on. Actually, I met one of my subscribers, Steve. Big shout out to Steve and his missus. Really nice to meet you both. Hoping to do some fishing with Steve as well. He's on Paul's campsite, so quite nice to meet him. And unfortunately, because I was driving, I couldn't really have a drink. So they've all stayed up till about 3 o'clock in the morning. Wheatling's going for a wander. Oh no, wait. They've all stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning drinking or whatever. Till I left at 8:30. It was a shame, really, but I'm sure we'll get opportunity to sort something out again at some point. So it's brilliant, really. You know, another person added to the friends list, if you like, of fishing buddies. It's one thing, you know. Sometimes I've had doubts about doing a YouTube channel, but then when you meet people and stuff, it's gives you a really good social network. What have you, sharing sort of stuff with people fish the same area as you as well. But it's not all about the fishing down here, believe it or not. It is nice just to chill out and have a beer as well. Obviously, some of my videos, I'm a bit paranoid if I'm being truthful with people about putting drinking and stuff. You know, when I were here with Jay and John and what have you. But I'd rather just have it as it is. I do have a drink on my days off work. I work hard enough. And sometimes when you're here with your mates, it is nice. It gives people a break. Everybody has a tough life, you know, the Monday to Friday thing. On a weekend and stuff, it's nice to do a bit of fishing, get away from it in the countryside, and just chill out, basically. So that's my take on that. It's not like, I know some people get my thing. It's a bit stereotypical. Is if I saw people drinking on a YouTube video and being a bit daft, I probably prejudge them. Not intentionally, and you shouldn't do. But I'd understand if someone took a dim view. And same with swearing as well. Someone took a dim view to that in my videos. I totally understand it. There's been the odd F and Jeff in some videos, not a lot. When I'm on my own like this, I think I'm sort of getting the balance in the channel is like when I'm with my lads and when we're with the lads and we're having a laugh, it'll just be as it is. I think the balance of the channel is when I'm on my own, it's going to be a bit more thorough with the chats about tackle. The language will be better. There'll be no drinking on camera. That's the balance. I think it'll be a good balance to have in the channel, you know, in the videos themselves, sort of thing. So I think that's what we're heading towards, basically, without having a plan as such. So that's on now. I'm not going to bore you anymore with anything. I've just rabbited on. We could be here all night. I'm going to bait that up with mackerel squid. I'm going to fire it out. I'm going to actually go and stand on here behind me to get it right out. So I'll be back in a sec. That's my other reel. That's the Pen 8000. I've upgraded it to a power knob on the reel on the handle, so you can get plenty of line back quickly. I mentioned it before. When I bought it, the anti-reverse spring was absolutely the weak as anything. The anti-reverse springs, but I've upgraded mine out of an old reel to a strong one. It's bang on that reel now. You can tell it's a little bit of a cheaper version of that one, but they're both good reels. They both cast well, and I'm happy. Another Ron Thompson rod. We'll see how we get on anyway. Mackerel squid on both at the moment. Right, so I've got two big baits out. I'm just putting an old flapper rig out. It's quite it had some hammer, this actually. I used it when I fished at Blackpool with my mum. I've got two size 8s, I think, on the top two snoods with small slivers of mackerel. I've got like a 1/0 on the bottom with a slightly bigger piece of mackerel. Plain lead, £25 line straight through, we're only lobbing it out. Yeah, so that's like my lead. That's my bottom snood. They're my two top ones. Small slithers of mackerel belly. I think if anything's going to catch it, I haven't had any inquiries on anything else at the moment. Got a lovely morning. Just this bit of a north wind, it's a bit of a pain. But at least the sun's up now. A bit nippy actually when I got down here. Like I say, I very nearly stayed in bed this morning, I'm being honest. No need to absolutely. It's gone about 50 yards, that, if that. I'm going to wedge this in front, basically, in front of the camera. Right, first fish of the session. Straight away, dogfish on the bottom hook of that flapper rig on the slightly bigger piece of mackerel. Not a bad little fish. Stuck in my hand with the top snood. So that's what I like to do. You only give a dainty bite. You know what? The amount of times these catch me out, I was just hoping it was something a bit better, a bit different. I saw the white underbelly and I thought, oh, we might have something different here. You know, like a bream or a bass or something. It didn't give much of a bite, this actually. It only gave a really delicate bite. But straight away, instant action with that one. Just rasping my hand. I'm just letting it rasp my hand. Yeah, we were talking about dogfish last night with Steve actually, and it's only small on this one. I'd rather catch dogfish than nothing. I know some people don't like him, and I understand why. Cute little thing that. Right, we'll get him put back. Next fish on the big bait, a dogfish. I thought I had a huss on. Didn't give me a bite, obviously because it's tangled in my rig. But it's foul up with a circle and it's got a scalp stalk attached to it. Yeah, so up through the side of it, we're going to have to be a bit careful with him. Look, what you do with these is, you know, when a fish is hooked dodgily like that, to reduce the damage to it, the best thing to do, because it's the back hook on your pennel, is cut the back snood, cut the back, you know, the back of your snood where it meets the swivel, snip that completely off. Right, so I've now got my snood without the swivel on off my pulley rig. Pull your bottom hook out like that so you get your snood off. Then you're just dealing with the hook in the side of the fish there. It's not pretty. I'm just going to grab my pliers. It's not pretty by any means. It's not going to be good for fish, but it's better doing it this way. Pull it through gently. And that way, you're minimalising the risk of damaging the fish too much. Look, it's a dogfish. Not many people care for him, but it woke up this morning. It didn't deserve to have a hook put through the side of it, did it, necessarily? You know what I mean? That's fish number 2. Been getting action on flapper. I just missed a bite a minute ago. I struck at nothing. Just make sure it's definitely a dogfish. I think huss have nasal flaps. The telltale sign for me, if he opens his eyes, doggies have black eyes. He's not going to open his eyes. But also the fact he's shut them like that, that's proper dogfish behaviour. They're not as strong as a huss. You know. If you watch this channel, you know the difference between a huss and a dogfish anyway. Let's put him back. So what I've done, just to speed things up, well, what I was doing, should I say, I've pre-baited a rig. It's got pollock on it. I'm going to strap a piece of squid to that and fire it out. So I'm fishing straight away. So before I reel a rod in, what I usually do before I reel a rod in is I pre-bait a rig. When I'm on clean ground, I do like this. And obviously I'll rebait this one now. I've just cut the snood on, I'll just tie it back on, and we'll go again. So 2 dogfish in quick succession. At least we're not blanking so far. Right, 3rd fish is another doggy. This time I tried a 10-0 dongle and it's actually hooked itself on it. did well there. Big pollock and squid bait. And how it's managed to get that in it, but it just shows you the it's really easy as well. Yeah, I think when that's happening, it means there's loads out there. You know, if they're taking 10-0 circles and stuff like that. So I chuck it back. Yeah. When that happens, it basically means there's a lot of dogfish here. They're taking big baits and big hooks like that. I don't very often catch them on big baits, usually. The last 2 days, I've had 4 and I lost one on a lobster pot yesterday as well. So it's not a good sign, really, especially as the tide's ebbing out still, obviously. Fishing the ebb, like I say. It just points towards it being a dog fest, I think. But, like I said, it's better than blanking. I'm trying to get something species. I've got the flapper rig rod out to the right. I've had 2 dogfish. I've had 2 dogfish on that. No, I've had 1 dogfish on that. I'm trying to get some species on it with them small hooks. Spin you around. Yeah, so that's how I've got my rod set up for the smaller species. Just off to one side, basically. Rod rests behind me, what the last kangaroo angle you've seen. So, yeah, I just want to catch some tom pot blennies or something like that. Keep going anyway. I'll get this rod rebaited. I've just got this dogfish on and try again. So obviously the purpose of a flapper rig on this rod is to get small species for the species hunt I'm in. I've just literally dropped the fruit flapper on down in this hole here. 3 slivers of mackerel on it. Obviously we're just hoping that something turns up. Sure there'll be some blennies or something. This area, I've caught blennies just around the corner from me before. In rock pools and stuff, like when I were a kid. But let's see if there's any here. I've had common blennies and tom pots before. They'd be 2 useful ones for the species hunt, to be honest. I'm just trying a double dongle rig. It's gone dead as the sea's ebbs out. There's no tide run at all, and the seabed just seems, your baits are just getting mauled by crabs and stuff, and the seabed just seems dead apart from crabs. As it ebbs out, you lose a bit of depth of water on this one. It's not the deepest, and in bright sunlight you do struggle. But I have caught huss when it's been like this before in here as well, when it's been blowing an overlay in bright sunshine. But I'm just trying something different, see if we can get 2 baits further out on this double dongle rig. So obviously we got, start at the bottom, we've got an 8-ounce lead, 20-pound round bottom clip Gemini splashdown. The bottom snood's on a Cascade swivel. So we'll clip this down. I'm just trying to think what type of Cascade swivel it was. It's one of the good brands, the ones that make them imps. I can't remember the name of them. Breakaway. That's the one, Breakaway. It's a Breakaway Cascade swivel. So then the bottom bait I always make bigger than the top just so it balances the rig out, so it keeps all the weight down. So that's quite a chunky pollock and squid wrap. So we'll clip the dongle clip into the Gemini splashdown. When fishing rough ground, always use a rotten bottom link because it'll catch you out one day if you don't. I've had problems myself. If it don't catch you out losing fish, it can catch you out when you get snagged up and you pull for a break. Your main line can end up snapping your hands. If you've got a weak link of line on your lead and your lead's what's stuck, and you can break out. So that's your how it clips down at the bottom, and this top snood's a smaller bait, and that clips into your Cascade swivel. I don't know if you can see. If you look, there's a swivel there. It's got a little clip on it. That's what your dongle clip clips into. It's a very, very complicated rig, really, but it does work really well. It's just, it's got a lot of components. See the difference in size at base. keep plenty of weight down at the bottom of the rig, and then it won't come off the top clip in cast. So you've got your 8-ounce lead and a big bait. We'll fire this out. Let's see if we can catch something. Last reeling on the double dongle rig. I only had one bait up with this, and the custom. Got the same customer again. Little dogfish, but this time I think he's tried to take both baits. He's hooked on the top snood. The bottom snood was tangled around him a bit. Both look like they've been mauled. I think if you're hooking dogfish like this, there's a few about, not many huss at the moment. I think on this mark the huss come in with the tide and push back out again. I've caught them over low tide before, I'm sure I have once, on a similar sort of day to this at a similar time of year, but I had loads of bites that day. This is the most dogfish I've had out of this session, this mark in one session for, I think I've had 4 of her. Yeah. It's on a little 5-0 circle. It's like they seem really placid. I don't know why. They've all been like that, really, really placid. Female doggy, get it put back. Probably should have stayed in bed this morning thinking on. Hey ho. Right, last reeling just to check my bait. Wouldn't normally record every single dogfish. They haven't even given me a bite on the big baits at all. It's spewing up a bit, this one. Looked on the bottom hook of the panel on this one. Bit bigger, biggest one in the morning. Nothing special again, but must be loads of them about today. If you put flapper rigs on all the rods, you'd be into double figures easy. I think that's 5. I've videoed them all, just purely because it's been a slow session. Losing water now. Well, I've lost a lot of water, should I say. But these are still feeding. Just going to de-rig this rod, I've de-rigged the other 2 and get back up. So other than that, that'll be it, guys. It's been a lovely morning. I'm going to get back up, get a coffee, have some breakfast, get packed up, probably head back to Doncaster. I've got grass to cut before I go back. So yeah, nice morning. Pity no us. I'll get this one put back, this doggy. Yeah, so basically that's it. Just release that dogfish. See you on the next one. It's been a bit slow this weekend. The doggies are out in force, even on the deeper marks. So yeah, I think truthfully, I should have come out last night, fished into dark, fished the overnight. If I wanted bullets, I think. I wedged my bets, hoping that they'd upset the phone book. They can do, obviously, any session can upset the phone book, but it stayed true to what it normally fishes like. Probably answered my own question when I should have stayed in bed. But anyway, you can't catch fish if you're in bed, can you? So, right, have a good one, and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much. Ta-ra.